I feel like we need to be brave. We need to stand up and we need to talk about our truth. And it's not so shameful. So many people have had similar experiences, but we keep it all tucked in, especially in the corporate system that's just broken. So I have to say I've been a bit of a trailblazer, not knowing it.
Hello, my name is Sabine Skvenberg, founder and host of Become. The content will inspire you to reach your aspirations and become the best version of yourself. I feature interviews with successful individuals from various industries, delving into their personal and professional journeys and their strategies to achieve their goals. We have to become the person we are meant to be first, so we can live the life we are destined to live. That means we must overcome challenges and work through difficult times to learn, grow, and become the new, more fabulous version of ourselves. I'm so glad that you're here. Let's get on this journey together. My guest today is the magical Susan Gold. Susan has navigated a ferociously challenging upbringing, facing ingrained, outdated, and patriarchal programming head on. As an adult, she has bravely moved forward to transform her traumatic experiences into opportunities for growth and personal transformation. In this episode, Susan shares her unique perspective on life changes and how they can be occasions for transformation. Drawing from her own experiences, she provides insights and tools that can help others all over the globe to find peace in the face of adversity. Through her work, Susan is on a mission to help people transform their lives and rise above the pain and trauma of their past. Join us as we delve into Susan's journey and discover how we too can learn to transform our traumatic experiences into opportunities for growth and personal transformation. Welcome, Susan. Where are you chiming in from and how are you today?
Sabine, thank you so much for having me. I am in the beautiful mountains of Montana, and I could almost walk to Canada. It's 4 miles to the border.
Ooh, wow. So it's probably pretty cold there right now, right?
Yeah, it's in the 30s. We've had a few patches of really frigid weather, but it's been pretty mild.
When you say it's in the 30s, for me, it's freezing cold. As you know, I live in Florida. As you can see, our clothing gives away where we live, right? Well, that's great. I really can't wait to dive into your story. I find it interesting that some people are defined by their story and their upbringing, right? And staying in these circumstances, while others break and transform. And I have the feeling you fall into the second category. But before we go into the story, I read one of the quotes on your website and says, "Living the path of truth and authenticity is not for the weak-hearted. It's one of ultimate freedom." What do you mean by that?
Well, for me, the easier, softer way, Sabine, would be to hide under the covers. I would have never left my little hometown at 17, the morning after I graduated from high school. But I knew in my heart there was more and that I had to stand up and take that risk. And that's been a theme throughout my life. Not the easier, softer way, but definitely the most rewarding and the most evolutionary for my soul.
I cannot agree more, because quite frankly, through adversity and going the more difficult path is when we grow. That's where the most growth happens. And you had quite a career in New York and LA. You were known for matching celebrities to brands, You were a TV and film producer. So tell us more about your first career.
Wow. Well, growing up in my family home, I used to watch Barbara Walters on my belly, on my beanbag, in the basement. I was so charmed by this woman and wanted to be just like her. And I ended up going to New York City. That's the place that I really wanted to go. And I ended up being Barbara's exercise trainer. And one morning I knocked on her door. It was 7 a.m. and she knew immediately something had happened, something was wrong. And I didn't want to share that personal information with her. But she was an incredible interviewer and she got it out of me. I was harassed in the workplace and she volunteered to come to work that morning and confront my boss with me.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, no, Barbara, that's okay. I'm going to handle it. And I did confront that boss who promptly fired me. And rather than go back into another assistantship, I decided to launch my own talent brokerage firm in New York City. I was 25 and I had not much money in the bank. I had gotten out of an abusive relationship. The gentleman held the purse strings, so to speak, and I was under that illusion. But I decided to step up and take the risk. So I did. And my first deal was to knock on the factory door and convince Andy Warhol, the modern art master, to do a commercial for Pontiac.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. But, it's also interesting that you said that now Barbara Walters recently passed away. And she was truly an amazing woman who got a lot out of the interview partners that she had, and that you had that experience with her and she was able to help you. That is a beautiful memory, I'm sure, that you will treasure forever. And that also helped you move forward to your next career, so to speak, right?
Yeah, she was really supportive of women, amazingly supportive of women.
So how long did you stay in New York?
I was there about a decade and I was very successful matching celebrities to brands. And that actually led me into television. Roger Ailes was running CNBC at the time, and he had his own talk network called America's Talking. And somehow they reached out to me and asked, could I bring celebrities to his America's Talking network? So I said, oh, sure, no problem. And of course, they weren't flocking. So one night I grabbed a cameraman and we went to some charity red carpet event and I stuck the mic in the celebrities' faces, interviewed them about the event, and then had them look direct to the camera and say, I'm so-and-so, you're watching America's Talking. And it became this phenomenon. And we had all these celebrities running on the network and it looked like an endorsement of America's Talking. So that caught Roger's attention and he invited me to produce any show I wanted on the network and then invited me to help launch Fox News Channel.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is quite a story. So what made you leave New York and move to LA?
So opportunity for one, but I really felt, Sabine, that I was becoming a caricature of myself. I had trouble really finding connection. I had a little cabin up in the Catskills and I would go Friday night and I wouldn't return to the city till Monday morning. And I just was living to get into nature. And my routine was very rigid. I had to go to the gym. I had to do certain things. And I was finding it harder to socialize. I couldn't make plans and keep them. So I just felt like my time was ticking down. And I got a phone call from a very dear friend who had gone out to LA to run a talk show. And she said, I want you to come out here. I need you to bring celebrities to the table for the talk show. And I said, yes, immediately. And then I panicked.
So why did you panic?
It was a huge shift. I mean, I had envisioned myself in New York City since I was young. I mean, I was probably 10 years old and I knew I wanted to be there. And I felt comfortable there. I knew how to push the buttons. I knew the players. I had a, fairly good income. I had clients, and here I was going to new territory. But I also knew that I wasn't intuitively going to stay in New York City my entire life. And I felt like opportunity comes for a specific reason. And if you're strong enough, just take it. So I thought I was going to LA for my career, which did blossom. But really, I think I went to LA to meet one of my biggest gurus, who is my ex-husband.
All right. That is an interesting combination. Your biggest guru, now ex-husband. So tell us more about what that quote unquote guru relationship was. What did it give you?
Well, I was, since the second grade, and Billy Fritz, attached at the hip to any kind of male attention. And friends used to say, when I'm in adulthood, I'm so powerful. You're so powerful. You're so accomplished. But I never really felt that. I always had to be in some kind of relationship, or I just felt like I was going to be annihilated. I mean, it was so strong. And that was costing heavily, but I didn't quite realize it as I was going through it. And I met my ex-husband and thought I met the man of my dreams. I mean, he said the right things. He had the right look. He had the right career, all the material things, right? But I also felt like we connected as individuals. And we did. It just wasn't the connection that I was hoping for. Because ultimately what I discovered was he did seem like he was right out of the movies, because he had a false construct and persona. And when the mask fell, it was incredibly painful.
Wow. When the mask fell. Let me hop in here real quick to share something with you. Have you ever tried to build your own website, start a newsletter, or build a course and charge for it? Have you ever wanted to make money online but are totally confused by all the different systems you need to have? That's why I use Kajabi. Kajabi is the most popular system for online marketers, coaches, thought leaders, and influencers. Kajabi helps online entrepreneurs take off. Over 100,000 of us use Kajabi and have made over $4 billion. Why not be part of it? The best thing is you don't have to figure out tons of systems or crazy technology to start your online business. Kajabi helps you do all of that, and it's all on one platform. That's why I use it. It makes my life so much easier, and I can even earn money while I'm sleeping. You can build your web pages, blogs, and membership sites. You can create offers, checkout pages, and collect money. You can host your videos. You can start your newsletter list, capture emails, start your marketing funnels, all in one place. It makes it fun and easy with awesome tutorials and support. Since I've joined Kajabi from the beginning, I have a special affiliate link that I would like to share with you. A 30-day free trial. So nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Just go to my link that's in the show notes, sabineskvenberg.com/resources, and we will redirect you to the free trial page. And if you are just starting out and want to get your offer out for sale in just 3 days, let me help you do that. Visit my webpage, by the way, that I built on Kajabi, and apply to making it happen. So now let's get back to the show. Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that sometimes we are blinded by an outer appearance and by quote unquote acting. Someone acts a certain way. But then when we get to know them and we get under the cover, so to speak, and reveal the core, then we see other things, and it can be even painful, physically or mentally. So I hear you Wow. But good for you that you made that transition out of that relationship so that you felt better after all, I suppose, right?
Well, it was a journey, Sabine. I did not want my family to break up. At that time, I had a son. We had a son together. I had purchased a home for our family, just like a coveted jewel in Southern California. I didn't want my lifestyle to change, and I didn't want to be abandoned by my husband. So I did everything I could to keep our marriage together. And finally, he just crossed his arms and his eyes went into those cold slits. And he said, I'm hiring an attorney and I'm filing for divorce. And that was the universe doing for me what I could not do for myself, because I was going to hang on tooth and nail and I was going to make this work. I didn't want a broken home for my son. But I felt the toll that it was taking on everyone. And we all had to step up and face it. And it was difficult. My ex-husband did not leave our family home. He remained in the master bedroom. And I was in a partial conversion in the garage on a mattress on the floor in a home that I purchased and maintained for our family.
Whoa.
And that is the metaphor for the relationship and what I was allowing myself to carry, and the demonstration that I was allowing for my son. So I really had to face it. And it took that kind of billboard falling on my head for me to wake up to the circumstance.
Yeah. It's so beautiful how you said that the universe is giving us the clues. The universe is giving us the 2x4s, right, onto our heads to wake up, to realize, look, holding on to that comfort, not even if it's comfort, but that comfort zone, that zone that we know because we are afraid and fear stepping in, that because we don't know what's on the other side. And for so many people, it's holding them back. But how did you get over that whole thing? When did you realize? Because what I sense here is that you really had to get through that stage where you just had to be still to transform, to finally get those wings, like the butterfly, like the symbol of my podcast.
Which is so beautiful, Sabine. And I want to compliment you for getting this messaging out and the theme of your podcast, because it has great meaning for so many of us, especially in these times today. So thank
You're
you
welcome.
from the bottom of my heart. I want to say that lesson probably was one of the biggest of lifetimes, and standing up to it felt absolutely monumental. And it took every tool I had in my kit to go through that experience. I was an endurance athlete. I needed that type of training that I had to get through this. I was a longtime meditator. I learned how to sit in silence for hours at a time and not make eye contact. And that's what I needed to do to get through this. When you divorce someone you think may be a narcissist, there can be no contact. They just loop you back in. They know how to push the buttons, and it's very, very deceiving. And I had to be steely to get through this and keep no contact within our home with a man I had loved and cherished. And that's what I held for a year until the agreement was reached. I wrote him his 6-figure check, and he left and went right on to the next candidate, because that's typical. That's the behavior. And the more I wanted to make him accountable, the more I wanted him to stand up, the more that would backfire right on me. I just had to use that as a lesson to who he really was and what I was allowing. And it was a powerful lesson, and one I am so grateful for.
That says a lot, that you said, I am so grateful for this lesson. A lot of people are bitter or become bitter and, just shut off and don't see this as a jumping board to their next greater adventures or turning into their next best self. And so I like what you said, being grateful for this lesson. And if anybody can learn something, be grateful for what you have right now. Be grateful to have the air in your lungs, right? And with gratitude, that helps us take our focus away from the things that hurt. Because our mind can only focus on one thing at a time, our conscious mind. And if we finding ourselves in a dire situation or feel pity for ourselves, shift to gratitude. Be grateful what you have right now and be grateful for the things, the beautiful, wonderful things to come. So thanks for sharing that and sharing your lesson. Now, you wrote a book, or let me put it this way. Yes, you wrote a book, but it's not yet released. It will be released on March 21st. And I'm so excited to share this news with my listeners, because I can only imagine how beautiful this book is going to be. The title of the book is Toxic Family, Transforming Childhood Trauma into Adult Freedom. Can you tell us a little bit more about your book?
Sure, I'm happy to. It was a long process. I think I was told in 2007 for the first time by an Irish seer that I had a book to write, and I heard it repeatedly, but I didn't want to take the time or the pain that it takes, the self-examination, certainly in memoir. But finally it became obvious that it was time. And it was an incredible exercise to sit down and string it all together and see with clarity how each piece had specific meaning for the evolution of who I am becoming here as a human being on the earth. And even though I had been told that I had a powerful story, I didn't really believe it. I thought it was sort of, milk toast, like McDonald's, grade A, everybody's got the same story. But now that it's down on paper, I see that's not true and that I do have a lot to share. And I hope that people can take from my experience and garner their own power and, more importantly, their own self-love.
Oh, that is beautiful. And what you said is so true. We always think, my story doesn't count. Who am I to share my message? But I say, who are you not? And everybody has a unique story. That's what I help my clients with. I have a program called the Celebrity Signature Message. And I help my clients to really discover that we all are celebrities. We don't have to be in front of a TV camera to be a celebrity. We all have that celebrity status, meaning the uniqueness, the very important person that you are for another person, right? So I like what you said that. Now, saying or seeing the title of your book, was that, or are you exposing any of your family members, or any traumatic experience that you have doing this publicly? I mean, I know if you talk to a psychiatrist or whatnot, right, it's a different story, but you literally shouting it out to the world through your book.
So here's how I feel about it, Sabine, and I've had that question come my way quite a bit. I feel like we need to be brave. We need to stand up and we need to talk about our truth. And it's not so shameful. So many people have had similar experiences, but we keep it all tucked in, especially in the corporate system that's just broken. So I have to say I've been a bit of a trailblazer, not knowing it. And I want to say that I love my family. I have deep respect for the roles my parents played. They have helped me so much. And when people read the book, they're going to wonder about that statement that I just made. How can you make that statement after what you've experienced? But I see it now with tremendous love for all of the players and all of the experience. Just like I see my ex-husband as a loving guru. These lessons, if I'm willing to look at the underbelly and really explore that mossy, dirty, stale energy under there, if I can just air it out and view it from the perspective of heaven rather than 3D earth, there's so many gifts and so much opportunity. So I really am appreciative of my family. And I know we shared a little bit before we started our conversation. Toxic family was not my initial title. My initial title was magical illumination because that's what it's been for me. It's been such a gift to really thread this through. But honestly, we have a toxic family and toxic lineage. It was hurt and abused children raising hurt and abused children. And the truth needs to come out.
I cannot agree more. And I applaud you for doing this. As you said, many people are too afraid to talk about it. And a lot of things are being pushed under the rug. And if we keep doing it, we cannot heal, cannot change. But if we put it out into the open, then other people feel an invitation of, hey, I can do this too. I can say it out loud. Let the world know what's going on. Only when we are aware of our circumstances and what's going on, can we change. If we're not aware, we're just going to stay in that old pattern that we so need to break. Now, if someone would like to get in touch with you, maybe they need some counseling, how can they do that?
Well, thanks for asking. I'd invite anybody to go to susangold.us. That's susangold.us and get on my email list. And you can also send me an email if you like directly at info@susangold.us. And I would love to offer anyone that would like a 15-minute free conversation with me to see how we might be able to help each other.
Oh, that is so gracious of you. Thank you so much, Susan. You are such a beautiful soul. And I see this book going out into this world, changing so many lives, touching so many lives. Thank you for this beautiful conversation and the advice that you shared with us today.
Thank you, Sabine.
That was my interview. And if you enjoyed it, give us a 5-star review, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. Thanks for listening. Until I see you again, always remember, serve from the heart, follow your passion, and live the life you imagine.